If you keep telling yourself, I should go to bed earlier, and then somehow it's midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and you're still not in bed, there's a reason for that. And it's not because you're lazy, undisciplined, or secretly addicted to staying up late. If you want the full reset that actually fixes this pattern, I laid it out step by step in the guide, but even this explanation alone usually hits people pretty hard, because it reframes the whole problem. The truth is, you're not failing to go to bed earlier, your nervous system doesn't feel safe enough to shut the day down. Here's what's actually happening. All day long, your system is in output mode. You're responding, thinking, solving, holding things together, keeping track of what needs to be done. Even if the day wasn't dramatic, your nervous system was still active the entire time. And for a lot of people, that activity never really slows down, it just changes shape. So when evening comes, your body might be tired, but your system is still open, still monitoring, still scanning, still not convinced that it's okay to stop. Going to bed early isn't just going to bed, it's ending the day. And ending the day means letting go of control, responsibility, and awareness. For a nervous system that's been running hot for months or years, that doesn't feel neutral, it feels risky. So instead of winding down, you unconsciously delay, you scroll, you watch something, you do one more thing, not because you want to stay up, but because some part of your system isn't ready to drop the guard yet. This is why the classic advice never works: just go to bed earlier, have more discipline, turn off your phone. That advice assumes the problem is decision-making. It's not. You already know you should go to bed earlier. The problem is that your nervous system hasn't completed the day, so it keeps you awake to maintain a sense of control. And here's the part most people miss: late night scrolling, watching shows, even doing random tasks isn't about entertainment. It's about regulation. Those activities keep your brain busy in a predictable, low-stakes way while avoiding the internal shift that comes with actually ending the day. You're not choosing stimulation over sleep, you're choosing safety over shutdown. This is also why you might suddenly feel wired but tired at night. All day you're exhausted, and then as soon as it's time to sleep, you get a second wind. That's not energy, that's your stress system staying online. Cortisol doesn't just disappear because the clock says it's bedtime. If your system never powered down during the day, it doesn't magically trust nighttime either. Another thing people don't realize is that bedtime procrastination often shows up when your day doesn't feel complete, not productive enough, not satisfying enough, not resolved enough. Your nervous system keeps you awake because it feels like something is unfinished, even if you can't name what that something is. So instead of resting, you stay half engaged with the world until you're so exhausted that you basically collapse into sleep. And when that becomes the pattern, your system learns it. It learns that the only way the day ends is through exhaustion, not through safety. So going to bed early feels wrong, too quiet, too exposed, like you're skipping something important, even when you're not. This is why forcing yourself into bed earlier usually backfires. You lie there, your thoughts get louder, your body feels restless, you start questioning everything, and then you decide, see, I can't sleep early anyway, and you go back to doing something else. The problem wasn't the time, the problem was that your system wasn't ready to stand down. The real fix isn't pushing bedtime earlier, it's teaching your nervous system how to close the day before you ever get into bed. When the system gets a clear signal that nothing else is required, nothing is being missed, and nothing bad is about to happen if it relaxes, bedtime stops feeling like a threat, it just becomes bedtime. This is one of the biggest shifts people experience when they work on this properly. They stop negotiating with themselves at night. There's no internal argument, no dragging it out, no sudden burst of activity. The urge to stay up just fades, because there's nothing left to protect against. That's why in the guide, the focus isn't on hacks, tricks, or perfect routines. It's about restoring the ability to actually end the day at a nervous system level. Once that happens, going to bed earlier stops being a discipline problem and starts being a natural consequence of being regulated. And when you can end the day cleanly, sleep changes too. You fall asleep faster, sleep gets deeper, mornings feel less brutal, not because you forced anything, but because your system finally learned that it's safe to let go. So if you've been beating yourself up for not being able to go to bed earlier, stop. That struggle makes sense. You weren't resisting sleep, you were protecting yourself the only way your nervous system knew how. The good news is, that pattern isn't permanent. Once you teach your system how to shut down without fear, bedtime stops being a battle and just becomes the end of the day, the way it's supposed to be.